Hi, teachers. It is Molly with the Sunny Side, and I wanted to go ahead and share with you this idea that came to me last night. Looks like there was some interest in how I was able to create a resource for a totally digital parent-teacher conference opportunity. And so I wanted to kind of share with you what I came up with, what I created, and then, of course, share with you some of the resources that I will show you today. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you the three things that I've created that I'm going to use for my completely digital parent-teacher conferences. The first tool is one that I will add to the YouTube video description, and it is basically a sign-up sheet for your parents to sign their student up and to sign themselves up for a conference date and time. This is completely editable and customizable to fit your needs. So I wanted to just go ahead and share it with you. My specific district has a different way of signing up for conferences. So I don't think that I'll need to use this, but thought that it might be helpful to those of you who needed it. So basically, I would share it with my parents. I would have them sign up for a specific day and time. Also include their names, their child's name, and then their email address because if this conference is completely digital, I'll need to be able to send them an invite to the Google Meets or to the Zoom meeting, whatever it is that you're preferring to use. So again, I will include a link to this specific sign-up sheet. It's one that I think that you'll find is useful. This is the second resource that I created, and I'm going to share this with my families and parents after I get a concrete schedule down for conference times. Right now, I just have student one, student two, student three, but eventually I'll change those numbers to my students' names. And basically what this is a slide that I'm going to send out to number one, remind parents of the time slot and the date that they signed up for. And to number two, give them a way to easily access the link to the video or digital conference. So for example, let me just show you, I linked to student one's name this slide. And this slide, when it's ready, I'll have the student's name right here. And then on the whiteboard, it says, click here at your conference time to meet with your teacher. So what I'll do is I'll highlight the here, click insert link, and in this box right here, I'll right click and paste the shareable link to my Google Meets meeting. So this way I can remind the parents what time. I would definitely probably add the time here as well, in addition to the student's name, but also give them an easy way for them to access the digital meeting when it's time. So when I go to share this out, I plan to publish it to the web. So to do that, you go to File, Publish to the Web, and then click Publish. It's going to ask if you're sure you want to publish this. Click OK. Then it's going to give you this link right here. You're going to copy and paste this link. And the reason being is because when you copy and paste this link and you send this out, whether it's through Class Dojo or whatever tool you use, Seesaw, if you have a Bitmoji classroom, whoops, I did link some music here, so just one second. I'm still here, and so is the music. But I thought adding some extra background music would be a cute way to kind of introduce or to share with families this specific slideshow. And the reason why I publish this to the web is so that it's not editable. You'll see that I can't click on anything or move anything around in regards to like the clip art that I've added, that sort of thing. Now, this link right here, it's not linked right now, but when it is eventually linked and it's in blue, parents will be able to click on that when it's linked and ready to go. So that little trick, publishing to the web, can help you share your document without giving them editing access. So again, I'm going to send this specific tool and resource out to families and students after they've chosen a conference time to, number one, remind them of their conference time, but also number two, to give them a specific place to check or to go to when it's time to actually have that digital meeting. I know that I asked for their email address, and so that's another way that they could access the meeting. However, this might just be an easier way for them to find what they need to when they need to find it. So this is the conference schedule, and I'm going to share this prior to our conferences and after families sign up for conference dates and conference times. And this is the third and the final resource that I created. Um, Probably the one that I'm most excited about because it's what I'm going to use during the actual videotaped conference. Um, and so this first page right here, you may have seen that some teachers have what's called like a waiting room. And so when I go to start the Google Meets, I'll have this slide up and I'll share my screen with the parents on the other end. So this is what they'll see. I included a timer here because if they're a little bit early, then they can know that in exactly 5 minutes is when we'll start. When you put this slide in present mode as well, there's some background music and the timer also starts immediately. So just keep in mind that you won't want to put this slide in present mode until you're about 5 minutes before starting the conference. So kind of to just show you, you'll see when you put it in present mode, both the music starts and the timer begins counting down. So just so you know, when you exit present mode, the music shuts off. If for whatever reason you don't want music, here is where I added an itty bitty little background music file to this slide. You can simply hit the backspace or delete button to get rid of it. I did see a super cool trick for being able to kind of hide any music you want in the background. And if we have time today, I can show you that as well. But this will be the kind of waiting room slide that I have up as parents are logging in a little bit early and waiting for the actual conference to start. When they are ready to begin the conference, then I'm going to go ahead and click on this next slide here. I'm going to make sure that this says the child's name, obviously, with the parents that I'm meeting with, and kind of just introduce the meeting, the layout and format for how it's going to go. For me personally, I always find that having something to refer to in-person face-to-face conferences is always more comfortable for me. That way, everybody's eyes and the 100% attention isn't on me. So one thing I've been a little worried about with these, digital conferences is that all of the attention is going to be on me. And quite frankly, I'm one of those people when it comes to adults anyways, maybe not children, that I just don't necessarily like that or feel comfortable with that. So this is kind of a way to ease into the conference. And to kind of tell them how it's going to go. When I'm ready to share with them data and specifics about their child's grade, I'm going to click on this file cabinet and it's going to take me to slide 3. Again, I'm going to type the child's name right here. And then here I've created binders that have the different content areas that align to our report card. We use PowerSchool, so these specific content areas in addition to behavior, I also added behavior, align directly to our report card. So when I'm ready to talk about reading, I'm going to click on the reading binder and it's going to take us here to the inside of the reading binder. In some of the pictures that I shared, you might have seen that I had a Fontes and Pinnell benchmark assessment guide. That's what we use to determine reading levels. So I'm definitely going to copy and paste that in this specific notebook. Somebody did ask how I was able to assess. We are face-to-face right now, and that's the only way that I've been able to assess. So, I'll have that as a talking point for reading. I'll also take a screenshot of their actual report card that they'll be able to view in PowerSchool and probably paste it on this side as well. I could even take snips of different work that they've done. I use Seesaw a lot. I could take pictures of paper pencil work that they've done in class as well and import pictures of their work as well. So any digital work samples for the different content areas are things that I'll add inside the binder as well. When I'm ready to go back and talk about the next content area, I'm going to go back to slide 3 and continue in this way. For behavior, I went ahead and created a checklist. If you're going to use mine, or if you want to create your own, it's pretty simple. I included this orange check mark. Control copy makes a copy. Control V makes allows you to paste that. And so I'm just going to copy and paste for each behavior, whether that's an area of strength or an area to improve. I'm also going to send this out to my students and have them do this on their own too, so I can discuss, their self-reflection as well as my reflection as the educator or the teacher. So that's kind of how that works. Um, in my specific document, I've also included opportunities for you to kind of customize specifically the different subjects, and that sort of thing. So that's involved with my specific tool. When I've gone through all of the binders, I'm going to come back to this slide and I'm going to click on the linked thank you. It's going to take me to the last slide, and this is where I'm going to open up the discussion for any questions parents might have, any comments or concerns they might have as well. So that's kind of how I'm going to approach the digital conferences. That's how I'm going to use these tools that I've created. I unfortunately don't feel comfortable just sharing these tools that I made because a lot of them have paid for Clipart, and I want to honor that for the artists that drew and created the different things that you see in my slides that I created. So unfortunately, I'm not going to share that with you, but I will most definitely share with you where I purchased the different clip art. I purchased a lot of it on Etsy. There's a clip art bundle that has classroom Bitmoji furniture, and also I purchased a clip art bundle on Etsy that had office supplies as well as the binders that you see here. Those all came from Etsy, so I will link those in the description of the video. Um, Okay, I'm going to kind of switch gears here a little bit. Some of you were asking about font and where I was able to get that font from. Again, these are paid for fonts, some of them, so you might not be able to download them without purchasing them. This specific font right here is AG I'm Extra. This is a paid for font, so if you search in TPT or in Google AG I'm Extra font, it should come up and you can purchase it if you choose to do that. I was going for a rainbow theme here, so to kind of give you just a little tip or trick about color schemes, I just typed into Google Images rainbow color palette, and this came up. So I wanted to quickly show you for the different specific colors here, there are what's called hex codes. So you can highlight the specific letter that you're looking at, choose the font color, go to more colors, and let's say, for example, I wanted that W to be this first pink color. I would go to custom, down here where it says hex, I'm going to erase and type the specific hex code, which is hashtag EC87B9. And then I'm going to click OK. So I'm going to do that for every letter and every color that I'm choosing, and that'll give me the exact same color as listed on this color palette. If you search on Google, there are tons of different color palettes with hex codes. So whatever it is you're looking for, you can search, and that will help you kind of design the font and images that you use. To get that like overlay type situation that you see in my font, what I did was copy and paste. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to highlight and change the font. I think it's up here where it says text fill to no fill. By the way, I am using PowerPoint to do this. And then text outline, I'm choosing just black, and I'm going to choose the weight of that to make it a little bit thicker. And then I'm going to kind of line it up. You're only going to be able to see this with like the first one really, because the others are all black. But that's exactly how I did that. When I was ready to basically insert this image into my Google slide, what I did was I made sure that I grouped these two items. So highlight them both group, and then I'm going to move that top one back over to where I had it. And then I'm going to right click, save as picture, and I'm going to save this as a PNG. So make sure it's saved as a PNG, and then I'm going to type what I'm going to save it as here. That's how I created the text images. When the PNG was ready, I just drug it over to the Google Slides, so you can see it right here, and it's all ready to go. Again, I'll link the fonts that I used, the clip art that I used, and any other resource or tool that I used while creating this slideshow. I really hope that this was helpful to you. If you have any questions, please do reach out. Follow me on Facebook. I am the Sunny Side. Also, I will include a link to the product if you choose to purchase.